Hey guys, welcome back to Boots and Bounty Homestead. I want to sit down real quick and like my preacher says, if you got 5 minutes to listen, I'll talk real fast in 5 minutes. So, I talk to people about herbal medicine, and one of the most common problems that I hear of people having is acid reflux, also known as GERD, heartburn, you know, stuff like that, reflux disease. So what is GERD? GERD is the gastroesophageal reflux disease. So if you don't understand what actually happens in the body, let me explain it to you. If you already understand it, you can go ahead and skip ahead. But what happens whenever you eat something? You chew it up and you try to break it down as much as you can. That's why they say chew it 32 times so it's easier to digest. Well, whenever you swallow, it goes down your esophagus, it passes the little stomach flap and goes into the stomach. So after it goes down, the stomach flap closes and it keeps everything in the stomach. So it's not supposed to come back up. Now, there's also a flap that differentiates the esophagus from your air pipe or trachea to help keep you from getting choked or get aspiration pneumonia and all that. Anyways. So there's a little flap on the top of the stomach and it allows the food to go in and then it closes so it doesn't allow anything to come back up. Or it's more like, it's not really a flap, it's more like a muscle. And so, excuse me. So whenever the food goes in your stomach, there's stomach acid in there. The stomach acid is what breaks the food down in order for it to go through the intestine and it to be able to be absorbed. That's where, in the intestines is where a lot of the nutrients and the water and all that stuff comes out of the food, and then what's left, of course, is what you pass. So, what happens when people say they have heartburn, or they have GERD, or they have, you know, reflux disease, whatever? What happens to cause that? Okay, so first of all, to understand why this happens, you have to understand, of course, how everything is broken down, which I just explained. The stomach acid is what breaks the food down in order for it to be able to be digested through the intestines. Now, there's a reason why you have an excess of acid. So when you go to the doctor and you tell them you have heartburn, the first thing that they're going to do is, more than likely, they're not going to ask you what you've been eating or are you eating a bunch of fried foods and all that stuff. That ain't got, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans of them asking you what you're eating or anything like that at this point, because you've got to understand what you're eating and how it digests. So instead of them saying you need to do all these diet changes, doctors nowadays are going to throw you on pills. It's going to be Prilosec, Prevacid, omeprazole, anything like that. You are actually taking an acid pill. You're not taking a pill to get rid of the acid per se. You're not taking like Tums or something that is going to neutralize the acid. The pill that you're taking it creates an acidic effect to help break down your food, not get rid of the acid. Does that make sense? Okay, well, if it doesn't, let me tell you why. So, today's food is so full of junk and chemicals, and the number one thing is preservatives. It's got to sit on the shelf for a long time for you to be able to buy it, correct? A lot of people don't buy fresh stuff because it doesn't last very long. Well, it doesn't have preservatives in it. Breads, boxed meals, anything in a can, it's all got preservatives. And it's meant for large production, for large and long storage shelf stability, so they can be able to sell the stuff and ship it overseas and all across the United States. Well, fresh stuff doesn't necessarily last that long. That's why they're having to pick the stuff earlier, or harvest it, excuse me. Let me get my terminology correct on YouTube. They have to harvest items from the trees and plants and bushes and out of the ground before they're actually ready to be able to get them to you in time. They're coating them with waxes. They are, you know, they're picking them too early where they're not mature and they don't have all the nutrients you need. There's so much going wrong with our food nowadays. What's the byproduct? GERD, heartburn, reflux, all that good stuff. So, why is the food nowadays causing everybody to have this problem? Okay, back to preservatives. What are preservatives? Preservatives are made to preserve the food. That's what they are there to do. That's what they're gonna do. Even though you chew it up and swallow it and your body's trying to digest it, they're still preservatives. It's still going to protect its food, and it's gonna protect it and preserve it as long as it can. Well, the consequence of ingesting all of these preservatives is your body has to create more acid to overpower the preservatives to be able to break down the food so you can digest it. That's why people these days have so much heartburn, have so much GERD, have so much reflux, and they have so much stomach problem because of the food they're ingesting. If you go out and pick an apple off the tree, you eat it, you digest it fine. There's no preservatives. There's no chemicals if you haven't sprayed it. There's nothing on it. It is totally natural. Well, if you go and you go buy, say, Hamburger Helper, well, the meat that you probably had to buy, because if you're buying Hamburger Helper, then you're probably not growing your own meat. I'm just saying. So think about it. Everything in that box, you've got noodles that, who knows what's in them. It's not egg and flour like you make at home, or like the video I have that shows you how to make your own noodles. You have some kind of dried cheese substance or something. I don't really know, some kind of powder, and it's got this floury stuff on it, and this stuff's gonna sit there for a couple of years in cardboard and in these paper plasticky bags, and they're exposed to everything. They're not sealed, they're not vacuum sealed, they're not sealed from the elements, nothing. So it's kind of absorbing everything that's around it and all that good stuff, and God knows what is actually in it. You know, they've got all these chemical names, all these scientific names, and all this mess on the back of the box. Do you really know what all of it is? Do you know where it comes from? Do you know how they make it? Just saying. So, if you make this Hamburger Helper, your body is ingesting a whole lot of stuff. It has no clue what it is, because God didn't make it. So, God made some part of it. Man turned it into something of whatever consistency it is. I don't know. But if God, they tell you to eat as close to the earth as possible. That is 100% true. You can make things like noodles with eggs and flour. Just make sure that your ingredients are as close to the earth as possible. If you have your own chickens, use your own eggs. If you can grow your own wheat, or if you have a good source for growing your flour, your wheat, your rice, whatever you use for your flour substance, make sure you know where it's coming from. Make sure you know where you're getting it from. And that it's 100% as close to what God created as possible. That will be totally better for you than going out and buying it. Well, in turn of having to, you know, eat this Hamburger Helper or whatever meal you're making from the box, you ingest it. Well, now your body's like, go, 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 go. We've got to break this stuff down. We don't know what it is. We got to work on it so we can get it digested and try to get any nutrients that we can out of it. So it's throwing all this acid on it. It's trying to break it down. Well, then the preservatives are covering everything, and they're like, no, you can't break us down. That's our job, is to protect, you know, whatever this crap is that we're protecting. So it's a constant battle. with your body and the food that you're eating. So that's why your body has to create more acid. Well, if it fills up your stomach, and like myself and a lot of other Americans, if you're overweight, your stomach is constantly pushing, or your core is constantly squeezing your insides, and it's also pushing on your stomach. So if there's a whole lot of acid that's trying to break down a whole lot of fake food, the only way it can go is up, because it can't go down yet because it's not digested yet. So the only free open area they have is up. And so that's where you get heartburn. So how do you fix it? Well, I've already said you need to eat as close to earth as possible. Fresh items. And if you don't know how to cook fresh items, if you don't know how to treat or even preserve your own items, there are tons of YouTube channels out there that will help you do this. I do a lot of cooking videos to help with simple recipes, stuff that you can buy or grow your own food and bring it in and cook it right then, and you know where it came from. I do a lot of preserving videos. I don't add chemicals to my preservations. All it is preserved in salt. Pink Himalayan salt or canning salt. You can use either one of those. You just cannot use iodized salt. So it's preserved in salt. Well, you know who else preserves stuff in salt? Everybody from the beginning of time. Who preserved it in all these god-awful words you can't pronounce? Nobody. Nobody except this current world that is literally killing our bodies. They're killing our bodies. Our bodies are made to process natural items, not synthetics. All of this fake food, all these preservatives, all these chemicals, all these medications you are ingesting, that is man-made, that is made in production by man, your body does not know what to do with. It doesn't know what to do with it. It has no clue what to do with it. God did not make your body to process whatever it is they're trying to process. Junk, chemicals, synthetics, whatever. Your body's not made that way. So therefore, you get a result of diseases. You get high blood pressure because your body don't know how to process this fake table salt that's iodized that it has no clue of what to do with. You have heart disease because your body's working overtime. You're not giving it the nutrients it needs. You're not exercising because of the jobs that we have nowadays. It's a whole list of things. You have stomach issues, you have ulcers, you have diverticulitis, you have GERD, you have all this stuff. It all stems from the food that you're giving your body. You have diabetes. Diabetes was not a thing a few hundred years ago, even probably not last century. Diabetes was not really a thing that was very much heard of, unless you just had a rebel eater that, you know, just ate whatever and threw a whole bunch of junk together. Diabetes didn't exist like that. Cancers didn't exist like that. Immune system problems, you know, with the lupus and the Lou Gehrig's, anything like that, it did not exist. So what changed? Population, supply and demand, and that changed our food system. So, how do you fix your GERD? How do you fix your heartburn? You've got to get back to natural foods. You've got to get back to fixing your own foods or getting them from a trusted source. Now, you can fix fire cider. And you can take fire cider because it is, if you're going to continue to eat like you're eating, okay, and you don't see a way that you can change your eating habits, and I'm not faulting anybody. Look at me. I'm not faulting anybody for anything they eat. Let me tell you, okay? I'm not here to judge anybody. I want to help you. But you can make fire cider, and I can put in my recipe below I don't have a video yet because I have not had to make any in a long time, but I can probably go ahead and throw together a video for fire cider, but you can look any fire cider recipe up and find one that you like. They're all over YouTube because so many people make them. Well, you can take fire cider, like just take a shot, like maybe 2 tablespoons or so, just, you know, take a good shot, 10 milliliters or so, and drink that either before each meal or maybe just once a day. But the acidity from that fermented fire cider will help your stomach digest all of the preserved foods. It will help it break down. Therefore, it will help get rid of the heartburn and the GERD and all of that over time. Because your body also has to heal. It also has to learn to calm down. If you keep giving it all of the same foods, it's going to keep producing like it's been producing. And then if you start taking fire cider, if you start changing your food habits, it's going to take, I'm going to say, a good 3 months for it to finally calm down, because you've got to teach your body you don't have to produce all that acid. You don't have to, you know, overpower all these preserved foods because you're not getting them anymore. You're getting help from the fire cider, and you've got to calm down. Your body will adjust. Your body is super smart. It will adjust to what you're giving it. Just like it's adjusted over time to all the crap we've been giving our bodies, it's thrown the acid on there to be able to digest it. It knows what to do. It knows what to do. But to fix the problems that have been created, you've got to reverse it, and that takes time. I didn't gain all this weight overnight. You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm knocking on 200, okay? I'm knocking on weighing 200 pounds. And this is one of the heaviest points I've ever been. And it's because of some surgeries that I've had where I hadn't been able to exercise. But I've been able to keep my eating under control to keep it within a certain weight. But I didn't get like this overnight. It took me 3 to 4 years to gain about 40 pounds. I'm not going to lose it overnight. It's going to take time. Okay? It's going to take time. And this year's going to be the year. But you can't fix your body overnight. And that's one thing you've got to understand with using herbals, with using natural resources, with using stuff like that, is that your body has to have time to adjust. Our bodies are in a society now where it's, take this, it'll fix it in 30 minutes. That doesn't work with herbs. Herbs takes 2 or 3 days. Taking it 3 or 4 times a day. But your body knows how to use it. Your body's going to work with those herbals that you're giving it. What happens with medicines when you take it is that the medicine takes over and your body doesn't have to do it. Okay? Does that make sense? For you to fix your body, it's going to be up to you and how you want to go about doing it. But you... now, I'm not saying all situations are the same. There may be some discrepancies with functionality, which you can't really do anything about that on your own. You do have to have some kind of medical intervention for that. But if it is just basic GERD, heartburn, reflux, that kind of thing, you can fix this and it not cost you anything more than food. Change your eating habits. Research some items that can help, you know, with your herbs or with maybe even fruits or, you know, whatever your diet will allow. Research it and see what you can do to ingest more natural, more back to earth foods into your diet and get your body back on track, because I want to help you. And if you don't know the knowledge behind what you're trying to fix, it doesn't help, because you may be piling problems on top of problems and nothing is working. So If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. And if you need to reach out to me for any reason, you have my contact information. You can contact me here. You can email me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, any of those social media pathways. You can reach out to me and I will be more than happy to help you. But it's all in your hands now. It's on your hands. You have the information now. And share this out to people that may have the problem and are having trouble trying to fix it or going about it all wrong. And you need them to know this information. So share this out with them and let's fix everybody, guys. We have the power to do it. So until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.